All right, had a major screw up on this thing. Had it installed. I didn't realize it was keyed here. I wasn't thinking. When I went, I was routing. I was routing the line. I moved this, and when I did, I sheared it back here. So I had to pull this whole thing apart. Had to pull this bearing, ruin the cone here, and then not this one. I had to go get a replacement. Now I couldn't get a Timken, but this is close enough. But anyway, I had to pull the bit of the old line that was out of there. So I had to heat it up, braze to get this stuff moving, pull that out, then stuck the new line in there. I've been blowing it, make sure it actuates. It does seem like it is. Now I should have already done this, but take a little soap and water and let's try to see if I can see anything leaking. By the way, also I did damage this just a little bit, so this is going to be an example of what not to do, but we'll see if this repair works anyway. This is my vehicle. It's a high mileage vehicle. I don't drive it all that often, but when I do, it's generally in mud, moving equipment around or whatever. I probably put in maybe 2,000 miles a year on it, so I'm not extremely worried. Not only that, these gear teeth are well worn, probably too worn. However, I don't get on it hard. I'm pretty easy on everything. So I'm going to maybe try to wait till it's time to replace these O-rings to replace this gear. So maybe maybe another 10 years or something, or whenever this thing won't hold air, maybe then I'll replace the gears. In the meantime, I'll try to change the fluid more often. And another thing, these differentials, these carriers are real easy to pull. It's one of the easiest I've seen. So that's at least nice. But anyway, I've got a little soap and water here. I don't have a good way to I don't have a good fitting on this other side. Can you even see that? You can barely see it. But yeah. I don't have a good fitting for that. But anyway, let's see what we can see. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. This is just soap and water. Nothing special. Let me grab my air hose. Yeah, you can hear it when I get this that it will actuate. Wish I had better light. Might be in the way, but I'm not seeing any extra bubbles. So it's as good of a test as I really know how to do on this thing. But and also I'm going to do another thing you're not supposed to do. This is a Timken cup with an FAG cone. I'm going to use them together. They seem to be made very precisely. Like I said, this is something I always hear not to do. So I've got other stuff that I need to really keep an eye on. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it and just see how it works. Again, this vehicle already has 350,000 miles on it. Well, just a little bit under. I don't know. Maybe it's 340 now. I'm not gonna expect another 300,000 miles out of these gears. So I might have, I don't know, I might have 10,000 miles. I don't know. My guess is I probably, taking it easy, I probably have 100,000 more miles I can put on this gear. Like I said, I'm gonna only be in mud when I'm pretty much get this thing hung, or not just mud, but I'll be in just slippery conditions, real slow whenever that happens. I'm not gonna be using a lot of throttle. So we'll see how this stuff holds up. If it just completely explodes this thing, well, then we'll go back to it. And also, as far as getting this one, you can get another one of these for like $100, but I can braze it for less than that. Now, I didn't have a small torch or anything like that, so I went and got one of those. So yeah, I've got more than $100 into fixing this, and plus I had to get another bearing, so because when you pull those things, you had to pull on the race or on the cage, and it ruins the cage. There's just no way to get. I don't have a way of getting back behind there and pulling it the best way. Maybe ARB can. I cannot. And as you see, like on some models, you got this guys out here. Obviously not on this model, which is good and bad. But it does mean that. Now, if I had a nice groove down here, yeah, I might have another way of pulling this bearing, but I do not. So I can't pull it. There's just no room. And I'm gonna go get this thing set up and try to install it, and then I've got to get some of that gear marking compound and take a look once I get all this stuff together. Also, I'll show you the special tool that I got that failed immediately, but that's from right now. Oh, I also had to take a stone. This is bird on the outside, so I'm not sure exactly what went on, but I don't know. It doesn't affect me a major amount. If it does, well, then I'll have to replace this gear. There's not much else to it. If I stopped now, I'd replace it now, but I really think I've at least got, you know, another 30,000-40,000 miles, which might be another 5-10 years. At that time, we'll replace this guy, and I'll probably just have somebody do it, because at that point, you're replacing the pinion, all the bearings, completely rebuilding the rear end. I'll just let somebody do that for me, I think. At the same time, this is stuff that's kind of enjoyable to do, but let me stop rambling and try to get some of this stuff installed. Alright, welcome to my new tree house. Or fort, or whatever. Crawl in here, got my coffee ready, because I'm going to be in here for a while. I'll tell you that. Alright. There's my official tool to make this just so easy. And it bent the absolute first use I had with it. It wasn't the official one, but it was supposed to be like an in-between, but no, it won't do anything. It's very weak. So I'm not really sure what to do there. I just have to use punches. That's the only thing I know how to do is just use punches. But let's see. It just won't let me. The big problem I have now is that I've galled this up, so I can't run this in as well as I could before. Anyway, I felt like this side, I feel like I needed to come over last time, so I'm gonna run that in just a little bit more on this side, just a little bit. And it's kind of confusing, in or in this, in on either side or whatever. They get you space, you gotta clamp it up, you little preload on it. And then what I like to do, and then not what I like to do, and then towards the end, you're going to check your end plate and then check your mesh and make sure that everything's looking good. This setup is real easy because you're not pulling it and redoing shims, you're just popping it around. So all right, let me get started. Man, and this thing is heavy, this carrier. What I do is I get it up onto my lap, and then I use this to make a bridge and kind of roll it up in there. That's how I did it 2 or 3 times yesterday. And it's a lot heavier than the OEM. And then now, today, my muscles are kind of sore, so we'll see how good of a job I'm able to do. All right, let me get to it. I probably need to lift more. I find cursing to be almost a requirement in doing this kind of work. Let's go try the hickory flooring. It doesn't seem to do anything to help. There we go. Making shit look easy. My hand says it's 20 thou play right there. Just joking. And side to side's about 10. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get a cap on here just so I know this thing won't fall out. Now on this, these straps, it's pretty straightforward. Let me get this in here and then I'll... Here we go. Whew. This is the basics. Okay, this is what I was calling a strap. And anyway, you've got to adjust these. These go lefty-loosey on. Put them on both of them. Makes it go in. Goes this way towards the inside, which will... better not do that. Which will drop your in play on your gearing, or get your backlash. Because I'm just holding this at the moment, just with it. This will start getting real here in a second. But what I'm going to do is just run this side in over until I got good mesh with my gear teeth. I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to run this side. Can't point because I still don't feel... See, that's why I don't point. But anyway, I'm going to run this in until I got my backlash. Can you see my pinion in there? I can. I don't know if you can. But anyway, I'll get that in there. And then I am going to also show you a few other things. But I think I'm going to try to get to be like 8 thou. And then I'm going to run this guy out to the left a little bit more. And that should give me a little bit of preload, a couple thou preload. I had 10 thou and I took this thing apart. And what I'm going to go for is running this in until I have about 8 thou. Then I'm going to push it back and hopefully get a couple thou more back from it. We'll see if that works. It might not. In that case, we'll loosen that. Add a little more. Then when we get done, we'll check backlash in different spots. And then I'll get some gear marking compound and we'll try to see if we can see what it looks like, but I don't know that we will. All right, out. All right, back to the series, how not to install your locker. Okay, I feel like I have, you can hear it. I'll shut up. Okay, there's a That's my backlash. Nope. Part of that's going in and out. So I'm gonna just kind of hold this in, and then I'm gonna try to check backlash. And what I think I've done is I've ran these teeth up on the pinion. So I think I have about pretty close to just a few thou. So let me set up the dial indicator. Okay. See how that's like no backlash? It's like maybe 5 or 4, and I think I'm actually turning it. So what I'm gonna try to do is put a cap on this side. Can you see my hand? Oh no, you can't. No, the other one. On this side, I'm gonna put the cap on, and this side, I'm gonna put it on lightly. I'm just gonna kind of hand tighten it. And on this side, I'm gonna take that off, and then I'm gonna try to run that out, and I'm gonna see what it does to my in-play, or my backlash. I'm sorry. All right, it's completely locked up right now. There's no in-play at all. I just hammered that in, so that's why it's good to check. So that's not hard at all to fix. So I'm gonna unbolt that. I'm gonna give myself some room. I'll kick it back a few thou, and maybe like a half turn, and just see where we're at. All right. When I tightened that up, I lost all my clearance, so I've been slightly loosening it and pulling it back this way, basically pulling this gear back, and then now I'm back to where I've got a couple. But I'm gonna loosen this just a little bit more. I'm probably get it, like I said, I'd like to get to like 8 thou, and then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna adjust this, and then I'm gonna go over here and adjust this side. And then when I do that, hopefully I'm gonna get back to my approximately 10 thou, and that should be pretty good, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm still kind of new to this, so I'm just kind of enjoying myself, taking my time. Okay, this was kind of hard to show. For one thing, I had my my outer race out here had kind of come off the cone, so it was like really messed up. So I kind of, you know, jarred this a bit, kind of got it back, and then this ended up coming back like 1/4 of an inch, and you can see it's kind of both on the same side. But anyway, I got it to where I had a few thou in play, and I didn't do this perfect. A lot of people will run in and be like, okay, I'm hitting 7, and then they'll run it in the other way to get the rest of their whatever. I didn't do it that way, but I did kind of. I had like 3 or 4 thou from just messing with this side, and then I did use this side to ram me back over to like 5 or 6, and then I bumped that over a couple, bumped this over a couple, just kind of went back and forth until now I've got about 9. I've got about 9 now. So it's pretty close. New bearings for you, that's pretty good. I'm gonna get my gear marking compound. Well, actually, let me rotate this thing 90 degrees, and then I'll get the gear lap compound stuff, and I'll try it in both directions and make sure that I'm not way too off. But I think now I probably got it just about right. So again, couldn't use my handy dandy tool. Get a brass punch. Actually, that might have worked. That might have still worked. I don't know. Anyway, but see how the way it bent up. I'm not too happy with that. I don't know the best method of doing it. But anyway, get a brass punch. I didn't even have one on hand, so I did a shit job. Sorry. But yeah, the next big thing in which I'm still worried about is bending this guy. I guess I will go ahead and actually bend it, because I still have an hour or so before I can go pick up my compound. Wow, a bunch of police came by. Oh well, I guess they're going to my neighbors. I haven't heard anything crazy going on. I don't know what's the deal though. Of course, there's some planes going overhead too, but I assume that's not the same. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. It's 9 thou as well. It's good to go. Take this off the side. All right, got some gear mesh compound stuff. Which way? I think that's about right. But it looks to be about even. See how it's kind of a little bit lighter in here, and then you can see down in here it should be pretty good. Fairly decent tooth engagement, I think. Kind of know the theory, but I don't really have a lot of experience with it. Normally I see like a yellow compound, but that's what I got. Got some Permatex Prussian blue. Don't know what the ingredients are, so I don't know how bad this is for inside of this thing. It doesn't tell me crap. Oh well, I'll have to wipe it out. Use a solvent. Alright, I got those torqued down. I didn't do it exactly perfect, but it's good enough. Went as much as my torque wrench should go, and then bumped it a little bit more. Still got 9 thou. Looked around, put that around several more times. Still looks good. I'm gonna take a while. I'm gonna run these guys down. Little keepers. Run those down. Get them nice and not too tight, but tight enough. Clean off this compound, and then I have to not screw up my airline. Now let me mention the airline stuff a little bit. This bracket here, this is kind of specific, I think, to this axle, but in general, this bracket is keyed at the bottom, and then there's a little groove, and so that's what keeps this whole thing from. You can see. Let me get this out of the way. I got my dial indicator out of the way. You can see there's a little bit of play in that, whatever's that key. So this has a little rotation to it. And now I didn't open that up, even though I did have to go back and braze it, but that's just what it has. This whole setup is basically, think about it as like the carrier, the whole axle itself. That includes the outer races, that includes the caps, that includes your adjusting nuts. What is different, what it does not attach to, is this part of the carrier. I guess I should say housing. This is a carrier. It does not attach to that. That is internally, it's going with your cones. I can't point to the other side, but see, there's the cones out here. This is the cage, and then you can see up here, you can see that's the outer race. That's what's touched. that's what keeps these two separate. That's why this spins around right. So just in case you don't know some of the basics about this stuff, and kind of keep in mind this when you are doing something like this. But oh, also just squirrel, I guess. Just gonna see if I can see my tone ring. Can't. Okay, whatever. I'll miss that later. But anyway, so just think about that with your line. Remember that you're gonna have a little bit of wiggle room right down here because of the key. It's not a real tight fit. It's very, very subtle. But I am gonna work this through and work it up through there. And actually, I may go and do that right after I tighten those down. And I am a little nervous because I screwed that up yesterday, and that was a major loss of time. I lost more time doing that than I did putting this whole thing together, taking it apart and putting it together. So that was really negligent and dumb on my part. Anyway, what I'm going to try to do, you can see where I have a 90 here, kind of like coming this way and then going down. I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a wide loop, and we'll have it come back, have it chase this, and then go on out. And then I need just a little bit of wiggle room down here so this can go back and forth, and so I can have a little bit of room when I adjust from my bulkhead fitting. That's what I'm going for. Hopefully that'll be right. And then from there, I just need to get all this compound off and then button it up and push the axles back in, and that's about it. I mean, well, fill it up, obviously. But this is a pretty easy swap, even though I made it terrible. But again, I keep screwing things like this up, so you can watch me to see how not to do it. Whew, I'm nervous. But it's not gonna get any better. Alright, I've got my airline ran. I've not cut it yet. I've just kind of put it in there and made some marks. I'm going to get the old line cutter and cut that, and then then I've just got some cleaning to do, and it's ready to be buttoned up. I keep checking. I'm so paranoid because I already screwed up earlier. It does seem like it's engaging properly, so and I've got some soapy water down there. I've been looking at it, putting air under it, pressure. It seems to be fine. I've got some room. Ooh, actually, I don't like that at all. Okay, I've got a little bit of tidying up to do. Okay, I am still gonna go ahead though and get that cut, so that way I can really finally get that where I want it. Okay, I've got that guy in there. Now I'm gonna get the O-ring on there, and I'm gonna get the, well, it's not exact, it is compression fitting, but it's compression's on the other side. Alright, that's about as good as I can get it. I really don't like how much play that thing has. Yeah. Unless it's got some wiggle room. I think it's okay. Still don't like it. But yeah, hopefully I got a locker now. You can spin these little spider gears when I do apply air, which I can't get anything leaking from in here. I can't notice it, at least from what I can tell. And it seems to be locking up properly, so I gotta get some cleaning done.